Week 1 in the books. Now let's jump into some Week 2 picks. What is up, football fans and Dolphin fans? If you subscribe to the channel, you're probably here for Dolphin fans, but you don't have to be just a Dolphin fan to hit that subscribe button, especially if you like these picks videos and all that stuff. But so today, essentially, we're going to be doing the picks for Week 2. Comment of the day, I'm going to be answering you guys' questions on should we trade for a wide receiver? And there's 2 in specific that we are going to talk about. But before we jump into that, I got some new patrons that I need to shout out for, to be specific, or the kids like to say today, Pacific. It's an ocean, people. It's an ocean. We got Ron Torchia. We have Jason Ramzorin. I hope I said your name right. We have My Wife Stole My Lawnmower 3.0 with the $4 patrons. And then we also have John Patera with an $8 patron. Thank you guys so much for joining. Again, if you guys want to, it's linked below. There's a ton of perks and all that stuff with the different tiers. If you guys want to join the Patreon, it is all linked below. So let's jump into picks. And last week, you guys as a community, as the subscribers, have a 1-game lead on me and my father. You guys went 10-6 last week. Me and my father both went 9-7. So you guys got a 1-game lead on me and my father. But let's jump into this, and we're going to talk about tomorrow night's game, the Cincinnati Bengals heading to Cleveland to take on the Cleveland Browns. Now, Cleveland last week against the Baltimore Ravens, ay caramba, 38-6. You got beat pretty bad. Then you got the Cincinnati Bengals, lost 13-6 to the LA Chargers. It took all of the strength in my core not to say San Diego Chargers. But this is going to be, I honestly think that tomorrow night's game is going to be a good game. I think this is going to be an even game. I think this is going to be a very back and forth game. Joe Burrow had a decent game, didn't have a great game, didn't throw a touchdown, threw an interception, had a 66.1 passer rating, but he did march the team down the field on that last drive to potentially have it tie with a missed field goal, unfortunately, to go into overtime. So, Joe Burrow was doing his thing like a chicken wing. Again, the fact that these teams, especially these young teams that don't have the carryover of the same quarterback, the carryover of less turnover on players, the carryover of the same offense, defense, all that stuff, struggled a little bit this week. You had 2 weeks to get ready for the season. So you kind of saw it with the Cincinnati Bengals and both the the LA Chargers. But in this game, Bengals, Browns, I'm going Cincinnati Bengals. My father is also going Cincinnati Bengals. And this is actually a very close one. This is a very close one for you guys. Literally the difference of a 0.6%. But you guys are going the Cleveland Browns in this one. Maybe my father will close the gap, being that you guys have a 1-point lead. Then the next game we're going to be talking about is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Surprise, surprise. Everyone picked them to lose to the Colts, and they actually came out and had a pretty decent game against the Colts, winning 27-20. Minshew was like, hey, telling me I'm thinking I'm going to shit on your shoes. Against the Tennessee Titans, who beat the Denver Broncos late Monday night. I will say this about that Tennessee/Denver Broncos game. Tennessee could not have handed the Denver Broncos that game more times if they tried to. You had 3 missed field goals by Gostkowski. You had an extra point missed by Gostkowski. The Denver Broncos took the ball over. I think there was about 3-4 minutes twice. In under 5 minutes, they took over the ball twice and proceeded to pass it and didn't run the ball, didn't eat more clock up, didn't do anything in the aspect of chewing the clock. Then when Tennessee got the ball back, Fangio's not calling any timeouts as they're marching down the field. It just boggled my mind. 1, they didn't eat more clock up, like they were up by 1, just eat more clock up. And 2, you ain't calling any timeouts. So the Tennessee Titans take that one. So you got a 1-0 Tennessee Titans taking on the 1-0 Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going Tennessee. My father's going Tennessee. We like Derrick Henry. We like the way that team's playing, especially on that defense. And you guys, as a community, 90.7% are taking the Tennessee Titans. Now we have the Carolina Panthers, headed by Teddy Bridgewater, heading to Tampa Bay to take on Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is having a little bit of a hard time, especially last week. Had threw a couple interceptions. He did throw 2 touchdowns, but they ended up losing to the New Orleans Saints. And Bruce Arians is even saying, "Hey, I'm not going to give Tom Brady a little slack here. He kind of screwed us over and kind of pissed me off." And then you got the Teddy Bridgewater Panthers close. They were close to beating the Raiders. They were down. They lost 34-30. Had a pretty decent game, but couldn't pull it off. I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. I think, Bruce Arians getting on Tom Brady, kind of throwing him under the bus a little bit, saying, "Hey, do better." I think that's going to fire him up to take on the Panthers and do that thing. My dad's also in the same boat as me on that one, and you guys with an 83.4% also are going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then we have the Denver Broncos, the team that I literally just talked about. Literally could not have been handed the game Monday night any more times and still ended up losing because of bad clock management and bad play calling. Taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who at first were a little sluggish against the New York Giants Monday night, and then they just started picking up steam, and Juju Smith-Schuster started doing his thing. Connor being injured again kind of screwed me in my fantasy league, one of them, but Pittsburgh is picking up the steam a little bit. That front four on the Pittsburgh Steelers is dangerous. Absolutely dangerous. I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one. I think we saw with Tennessee the clock management, the bad, play calling at the end of the game when you had the lead. I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. My father's going with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you guys with a 79% are also going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then we have the LA Rams heading to Philly to take on these Eagles that were up at some point 17-3 and then 24 unanswered points. 24 unanswered points, ended up losing to the Washington football team. So the 0-1 Philadelphia Eagles are taking on the 1-0 LA Rams, who I don't know why McCarthy didn't just kick the field goal, and some of those PI calls are a little tick-tacky if you ask me. But I am actually going with the Rams in this one. I think that the seeing the Eagles offense completely stall in that aspect kind of. My dad's also going to be taking the Rams, and you guys with an 82.5% are also going to be taking the Rams in that one. Then we have the San Francisco 49ers taking on the New York Jets. Who would have thought going into this game both teams would be 0-1? But yeah, the 49ers lost to the Arizona Cardinals 24-20. Arizona is coming out and saying, "Hey, Doug, we hear that you don't take us too seriously. We hear that you think the 49ers are a little bit more of a threat. Well, what do you think about us now?" And I say to that, I think I'm going to take you a little bit more seriously, Arizona. But the 49ers ended up losing that game 24-20, and then we all know what happened with the Jets taking on the Bills. It was bad. It was bad. Yeah, the final score was 27-17, but that last 7 was just garbage time touchdown. I am taking the 49ers in this one to have a bounce back game. My father also taking the 49ers, and you guys with only a 57.2%. This one I was very intrigued at how close it was, but you guys with only a 57.2% are taking the 49ers. I thought it'd be a little bit bigger. Intriguing. Absolutely intriguing to me. Now we have the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Indianapolis Colts. And in this one, this is another one that Minnesota Vikings ended up having a lead at some point against the Green Bay Packers, but then the Packers just came back and just 43-34 on their heads. And you have the Colts, who everyone thought was going to beat the Jaguars with, Phillip Rivers and all the weapons they added. Nope. You didn't pull that sucker off. I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings here. I think they're going to bounce back here. I think they're going to play a little bit differently here. And I think that the Minnesota Vikings are going to pull this one off. My dad is going with the Colts. I guess he assumes that they took the Jaguars lightly, or like I said, with the Miami Dolphins, with the new coach, not the new coach, but the new quarterback and all these different players added, they needed that week, kind of like the Dolphins. He's picking the Colts, but you guys with an 81.1% are taking the Minnesota Vikings. Now, here we have a situation where Doug, me, messed up. And we have the Detroit Lions taking on the Green Bay Packers. I did not put this in the poll for you guys to fill out. I'm going to own up to that mistake. I'm going to apologize for that mistake. I'm going to give you guys a win regardless of who wins between Detroit and Green Bay. You can still comment it below and let me know who you would have picked, but this is on me. I do apologize for messing this one up. I forgot to put Detroit and Green Bay in the polling system. I don't know how that one slipped through my fingers, but you guys get a free win on this one. But we have the Detroit Lions, who I feel so bad for their rookie running back dropping that pass that could have won him the game. He's killing him. Adrian Peterson even talked to him and said, listen, DeAndre, you need to understand that it's going to happen. You need to move on from it. Taking on the Green Bay Packers, like I said, dropped 43 on the Minnesota Vikings without Stefon Diggs and all those guys. So I'm taking the Green Bay Packers in this one. I think that they continue that role. My father's also taking the Green Bay Packers. And like I said, unfortunately, I messed up. I didn't put this in the poll system. So be sure to comment below. Who do you guys think is going to win this one? Detroit or Green Bay? Next, we have the Atlanta Falcons heading to Dallas and taking on the Cowboys. Both winless teams. Both, Seattle beat Atlanta pretty handily. Dallas, on the other hand, probably still hurting from that last game, hurting from the Rams, not kicking that field goal with the PI call, probably still hurting here. I'm going with the Cowboys in this one. I think the Cowboys bounce back. I like the way the Cowboys defense is working. I like the way their offense is moving along. My father also taking the Cowboys in this one. And with a 64.2%, you guys are also taking the Dallas Cowboys. Now we have the New York Giants, who at first I was like, look at these Giants. Up 10-3 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Daniel Jones staying in the pocket, dropping some passes off, taking hits to the face. Saquon Barkley was nowhere to be seen. That's not his fault. That's the offensive line's fault. Taking on the Chicago Bears, who beat the Detroit Lions. I heard Mitch Trubisky does very well against the Lions. Well, apparently he does. So we have the Chicago Bears taking on the New York Giants. I'm taking Chicago. My father's taking the New York Giants, and you guys are taking, with a 62.1%, the Chicago Bears. Now we have the Washington football team 1-0. 1-0, taking on the Arizona Cardinals 1-0. Two teams that a lot of people, well, not a lot, I think Arizona, a lot of people saw them up and coming and saw them doing very well this season. I was a little about them, but no one thought Washington would be 1-0 and play the way they did against those Philadelphia Eagles. So we have two teams with two young quarterbacks, two teams that are proving people wrong in this aspect. I'm actually going Arizona in this one. I'm going to own up to, maybe I should have took the Cardinals a little bit more seriously, and I'm picking the Arizona Cardinals. My dad is picking Washington, and you guys with an 85.5% are also taking the Arizona Cardinals. Then we have the Kansas City Chiefs taking on those Los Angeles Chargers. Those Chargers that are 1-0 because of a missed field goal. And those Kansas City Chiefs that just thwomped on the Houston Texans. I'm taking the Chiefs in this one. I think, like I said, the fact that the Bengals kicker missed their field goal kind of helped them to win that game, the Chargers, and I don't think Kansas City is going to take them lightly. And I think they're going to beat them. My father's taking Kansas City. And you guys, with an astounding 96.7%, are also taking the Chiefs, whereas, 3.3% of you think that the Chargers are going to have an upset in this one. It's going to be very interesting. Then we have the Baltimore Ravens heading to Houston to take on the Texans. All of us Dolphin fans, no offense, Houston, don't take this personal, but we have your first round pick. So we'll be rooting against you on this one. But I still think that Baltimore is a team that is going to be dangerous all season long, where they're up in the elite echelon of teams this year. So I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens. My father's taking the Baltimore Ravens. And you guys with the 92.3% are also taking the Baltimore Ravens. Then we have the Monday night game. We have the Cam Newton-led New England Patriots taking on the Russell Wilson-led Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. And I will say this, Seattle has that home field advantage of the crowd, the 12th man, doing their thing, being loud as heck. Not going to have that this time. Yes, you can still have noise, but it's on the max at 70 decibels. And we all know Seattle, you guys can get louder than 70 decibels in that stadium. When we have Cam Newton, who beat up on my Miami Dolphins, he ran all over us, but he didn't really pass all over us. Dolphins still have a very good ranked pass defense, but our rush defense, well, that's a video that'll be out Friday, where I talk about what the Dolphins need to do and all those improvements. But I am actually going with Seattle in this one, not because I'm butthurt because of the loss last week, but I honestly like the way Seattle's defense is working, especially with Jamal Adams, and I don't think that Cam Newton will be able to do to Seattle what they did to the Dolphins. I think he's going to have to play a little bit differently, and I think New England's going to have to open up the playbook a little bit more than they did week one. My father's also going Seattle, and you guys with a 95.6%. I don't know if it's because you agree with me or you hate New England, are also going with Seattle in this one. And then we have the Monday night game. We have the New Orleans Saints taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't know what happened to that. In Las Vegas, hey, Drew Brees doing his thing. Kamara's doing his thing. Oakland, hey, dropping 34 points. Their running back, Josh, got me some fantasy points. So don't take these Raiders lightly. But I cannot go against Drew Brees and the Saints. Saints played really well against the Bucs. Defense played really well against the Bucs. I'm going with the Saints in this one. My father's going with the Raiders. Why? I don't know. He's not here today because I was busy and I'm recording this at about 11 o'clock at night. But my father's going with the Raiders, and you guys with an 89.1% are also going with the Saints. And then we have the marquee game. Well, for me, it's a marquee game. You guys probably are like, if you're not a Dolphins fan or a Bills fan, probably don't give two toots about this game. But we have the Miami Dolphins with their home opener. We'll have 13,000 fans in the stands. Have the Buffalo Bills coming down to Miami, and it's probably going to be a very hot one for Buffalo. But Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, he had a very good game. He's had a few fumbles, but he still had a very good productive 33 for 46, 312 yards, 2 touchdowns, 14 carries, 57 yards, and 1 touchdown. That Russian stat kind of reminds me of another quarterback we just faced. But we have him coming down, taking on the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins will finally be home. The question is, can the Dolphins learn what they had to learn facing Cam Newton and face a similar quarterback who's going to run all over you and has the potential to pass all over you? Can they learn? Can they adapt? Can they get better over the week? God, I hope so. God, I hope so. My father, if you don't know this, if you're new to the channel, my father is the biggest homer on the face of the earth, and will always pick the Miami Dolphins. So he is picking the Miami Dolphins. You guys, as the fan base, 68.1 of you guys are picking the Miami Dolphins. 31.9% of you are picking the Bills. That number for the opposing team got much bigger after the loss last week. And you guys probably want to know who I'm picking. Well, you're going to have to wait till Friday, because Friday's my preview video. I'm going to have a special guest on for that preview video. You might already know who he is, but you'll have to wait till Friday to find out. But be sure to comment below. I'm very interested in what you have to say, especially for my flub up with the Packers game. Comment below. Let me know who you think will win that game. You think it'll be Detroit or you think it'll be Green Bay? But if I picked your team, let me know if you like it. If I picked against your team, let me know why you don't like it. But be sure to comment below. And I'm going to get to comment of the day. Now, comment of the day is because I've been hearing this all day, and I even tweeted it out. Supposedly, Allen Robinson says he wants to be traded. He's unhappy with being on the Chicago Bears. Then it came out that his agent said, no, he doesn't want to be traded. He's just disgruntled because he wants a contract extension and he's not getting one. Well, then there's also Odell's story that he wants to be traded, especially after last week's thwomping against the Baltimore Ravens. And of course, with Devontae Parker, getting injured again and all that stuff, a lot of people will say, hey, should the Dolphins go after one of these wide receivers? And I tweeted it out and I said, why not? Why not? See what we can get, see what they want. Let's see what the asking price is. For Odell, right? He's 27 years old, plays 7 years in this league. Same thing with Allen Robinson, 27 years old, 7 years in this league. Allen Robinson only had 2,000-yard seasons, but in 2015, he did have 14 touchdowns. Odell, on the other hand, is probably the complete opposite. Had 5 1,000-yard seasons and only 2 of under 1,000 yards. So these are both very good, dynamic wide receivers. I think Odell is a little bit better. If you want my God's honest opinion of Odell, from jump, I never liked Odell. I always thought Odell was a prima donna. I always thought Odell was a diva, and I didn't like his mentality. That being said, if it'll help the team win, I'm okay with it. Somewhat. It's so hard for me to say, I'm going to be honest with you. For one, there's different aspects of how I'll be okay with it, right? Like I said, I want this team to win. Our biggest problem, one of our biggest problems against the Patriots was, besides Jakeem Grant, none of the wide receivers were getting separation, right? And the run game kind of got stuffed because they just played man and stacked the box and tried to stop the run. If we can add a dynamic wide receiver, if we can add one of these wide receivers that can get separation like an Odell, all right, well, if he helps us win and we start winning games with him and he's that dynamic change pace style player, it's hard to say no. That being said, it depends on what they want because his contract is still big. If the Dolphins were to say, give them a second, give them a third, we have 2 seconds, remember this, and say to them, you need to eat a bunch of the contract, which Cleveland has more money in cap space, then okay, maybe. Because the Dolphins have done that. Dolphins have paid off some of the contract to get a higher draft pick. Say it goes the other way around where Cleveland's like, all right, you want Odell? We'll pay some of his contract to get a second instead of a third. Then I'm like, all right, maybe. Give up one of our seconds for Odell? I'll think about it. I'm intrigued. Allen Robinson, I'm not giving up anything higher than probably a fourth. Because no offense to him, he only had 2,000-yard seasons. So I'm not giving up anything more higher than a fourth. He really hasn't done much the past couple seasons. But for Odell, that's where the conversation comes in, where it's like, what Odell am I getting? Is he going to be a headache on the team? Is he going to be a distraction on the team? Does Flores want that? Can Flores stop that? There's a lot of comments and a lot of questions that need to be answered. But in a whole, if him coming to this team instantly makes us winners, instantly will help this offense out, instantly help Tua out when he starts, that he has a security guy that will be healthy, will play, and not have to worry about him not making it to the field, a.k.a. Devontae Parker, it's hard to say no to that. That's what I'm going to say. But be sure to comment below. I'm very interested in what you guys have to say. Would you go Allen Robinson or Odell? Which one would you prefer, and how do you feel about that? But that's the video. It's picks video. Then Friday we got the preview video going up against the Buffalo Bills. They're coming down to our town. They're coming down to the heat. So we'll see how that goes. But be sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm getting very, very close to 3,000 Twitter followers. We're less than 100 away from 15,000 subs. So if you haven't yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But yes, be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm actually getting very close to 1,000 Instagram followers. I'm going to start posting there more. But like I said, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to hit the like button. Lets me know you like these videos. Also, like I said, we are very, very close to 15,000 subs. I still have the sneaker giveaway that I'm going to do. It all depends if you guys wear size 14, or if you just want to display them. I'm going to give away these sneakers. Let me show you them. These sneakers right here, these Miami Dolphins sneakers. I'm going to be giving these away once we hit 15,000 subscribers. I was going to do it for the kickoff, but then I thought to myself, I'm getting really close to 15,000. So once we hit 15,000, I'm going to give these bad boys away to one of you guys. Again, they're size 14. So if you wear a 14 and you want them, you can be in on it. Or if you just want to display them and you like the colors and all that stuff, that too. So hit the subscribe button. You can get this sucker going. Also, check out Fan to Fan Network. They will be live on Twitch Thursday before the kickoff for the Bengals and Browns game. They do live streams on Twitch before all of the big major Sunday games and Thursday games. Also, check out their YouTube channel and their website. I am the Miami Dolphin ambassador. I represent the Miami Dolphins, so all the stuff on there is from me personally. But other than that, I'll see you guys Friday with the breakdown of the Miami Dolphins taking on the Buffalo Bills with a good special friend of mine who's a Bills fan, but he's a good guy and I like him. So other than that, I'll see you guys Friday. But like usual, stay classy. Fins up.